Today we're gonna explore the Hugging Face Spaces section and see what are the best new LLMs, diffusers, and ML apps created by other people that are publicly available. If you like this kind of content, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more, so I know that to continue making videos like this. But without further ado, let's get started. So, in this section on the Hugging Face site, we can see the spaces of the week, which are the most trending spaces from the last week. So for example, we can see Whisper, which translates audio into captions, into text. We can see that we have MusicGen that generates music, and a bunch of more stuff, which are really nice. And the LoRa, for example, is a diffuser for images, and etc. We can also see all trending apps from all time. So for example, we have an AI comic factory that we're going to take a look at, XTTS, and etc, etc. So one thing that is extremely important to note about this, all of these are available for free for you guys. However, they may be lacking a bit of as far as timing goes, right? So if we were to go for a Deepseek, for example, a chat, and you wanted to write some messages and there was a large queue, you might end up waiting like 20 minutes, 30 minutes or something like that for response. But normally this won't happen. Like, it's probably gonna be a few minutes and nothing crazy. But even if that is the case, you can always just go ahead and duplicate this space. It's gonna cost money that way, but if it's something critical, you can always do that. So let's get started, right? So Deepseek is gonna be the first thing that we're gonna take a look at. This is a relatively new LLM related for coding. So if we're gonna take a look at their GitHub, we can see that they've trained it on a lot of coding languages, and they have even a comparison for how much they trained it compared to others. For example, we have CodeLlama with 13 billion tokens and Deepseek Coder with 7 billion. So we can see how much it covers relatively to the CodeLlama, for example. And we can also see other stuff going on here in the schema itself, but it's not really critical for us, as we are mainly aiming for software development here. So what's really interesting is the amount of languages that are covered. For example, we can see that they cover the C language, SQL, PHP, JavaScript, etc. They even have TypeScript here, right? And we can ask it to actually create games, write code, or anything else. In the future, also create a video showing how to connect it directly to your VS Code, which is gonna be super cool in my opinion. So I started it off and I asked it to create a tic-tac-toe game earlier. So it provided me with some version of tic-tac-toe, which was only available via the CLI, via the terminal. So I asked it to add the UI, and it actually made an insane code that actually worked right off the bat. So if we're gonna go ahead here, we're gonna click on let's try it. We're gonna see that we have a game going on right here, and we have player X's turn. So if I click on X, I can see it turned to player O's, and the game actually works as expected. So if we were to have a diagonal line here, we can see that we got player X wins, and from now on we can click here, which is kind of a bug, but only X will be marked, so it's not really critical. But that was actually only within 2 messages and from the 6.7-bit chat, right? So if we were to use the 33 billion chat, it probably would have corrected this mistake, and that's actually kind of dope in my opinion. And we got it for free, right? I didn't have to do anything. It's publicly available, so you can go ahead and use it. I'll leave the link down in the description. Right. Next thing that we're gonna see is the AI comic factory. So we see it here. You can just go ahead, click on it, and it's gonna send you to something that looks relatively similar to this. And then we can enter a couple of things. We can enter a story prompt and a style or character prompt. So, for example, we can ask for a Batman in Gotham. This is gonna be like the story prompt, so we expect something about Batman, for example, and the style is gonna be cartoon Batman, for example. We can also ask to view the captions, and we can also change the grid. So this is gonna generate some comics. So for example, we can get something that looks like this, and once we click on go, it's gonna take a few seconds. So once it's done, we're gonna continue. Okay, cool. So it's done. We can now take a look at the comics that it generated for us. We can see it generated quite a few images, to be honest, and we can also redraw or like edit any of these pictures as well as the text, right? One that we can write dark Batman, for example, strikes again, and this was actually done completely automatically from the prompts that I used here. You can obviously go a bit further with the prompts, and you can get farther and much better results. But it's kind of like insane to think about. For example, if you wanted to recreate this image, we can change what's going on here. So digital color comic book style, modern American comic, cartoon Batman in a futuristic city, did drawing, in Gotham 2022, for example, right? So it's gonna take a few seconds, and as we're gonna see, it's gonna draw something that is much more futuristic in the vibe, right? So we can see now, we can also change the text here until next time, for example, right? That's kind of dope in my opinion, and it was done completely by AI, so you can go ahead and play with it a bit as well. But let's continue to the MusicGen, which is gonna be the last thing that we're gonna cover today, and this is kind of insane in my opinion. We can describe a music, and based on our description, we're gonna get 15 seconds of audio. Right, so MusicGen. This is kind of insane in my opinion. Absolutely for free, 100%. You can just go ahead into this URL. I'm gonna leave it in the description as well. You can just describe your music in a few words and get a 15 seconds of audio that you can use. So for example, if I wanted to create a background music for this video, I could have asked this AI just create a background music and just use it. And you can do it for YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, etc., etc. The options are literally endless. And I've done it for this description. So I asked for a lo-fi hip-hop chill background music, and as we're gonna hear right now, it sounds absolutely insane in my opinion. So that's kind of dope in my opinion. You can then go ahead and download it as well by clicking here. It's gonna just download it. You can see we have MP4, and that kind of sums it up in my opinion. This is the first video in this series. Let me know how much you like this. Make sure to subscribe and leave a comment.